A quick recap of the chaos from the last video.
I'm getting nowhere. I've only done 1 kilometre. Maybe go up there through the bush. That's what's left of my 360 camera. I just went through the biggest spider, the first drop of the trip. The camera's somewhere over there.
I've got coolant sprayed up here all over the place.
Shit, she's leaking fuel bad. Shit. I'm having trouble picking it back up again. So the clutch isn't really good. I'm worried about fuel, I'm worried about the clutch, I'm worried about the bike overheating. I don't want to damage the bike out. I'm in the middle of nowhere.
Now, as you would have seen yesterday, it was a pretty difficult day's ride. It kind of rattled me a little bit, kind of spooked me a little bit, especially coming into today to start the Oodnadatta track, which had a lot of rain. There were road closures. The updates from South Australian Outback Roads are saying that there's four-wheel drive only in some bits, so that's continuing to nibble away at my confidence. And I just wanted to say how awesome the adventure bike community is, because I just asked a question on the South Australian Adventure Riders Facebook group, and I said, guys, I'm coming through, blah blah blah, and man, it just lit up with all these comments saying, yep, a guy just went through on a T7, he said the road was good. Another bloke saying, yeah, I'll get back to you in another couple of hours. The answers have been really, really helpful. They've put my mind at ease as well. I'm going to try and attempt the Oodnadatta track.
Right, off I go. That was awesome. Some bloke comes around and has a bit of a chat. He's also got an Aprilia Capenord. Just wanted to see how the bike's going. He just drove the Oodnadatta track in that red four-wheel drive there and told me that it's perfectly fine. Cheers, guys. What a top bloke. Gotta love these early morning starts. The sun, the glow in the morning, the road to yourself, chasing my shadow. Great day to be out on the bike. All right, got to get a photo of these 130 signs. G'day, state border. Time for a photo.
Time to stop and refuel at Marla Roadhouse and also inspect the coolant situation. Unfortunately, it wasn't good news. Two things came to mind. One, please don't fail on me now. And two, I'm a long way from home.
The closest big town, try and get the bike looked at, is Port Augusta. Now, I've just ridden almost 200 Ks to get to here this morning, and Port Augusta's another 750 Ks away, so there's almost 1,000 Ks all up to get to the next major town to get the bike seen to. I'm guessing if I nurse it to there, it should be okay. It's not giving me any grief. The temperature this morning's quite fresh, so I've had the heated grips going, so that's playing in my favour. But still, you're constantly checking the temperature gauge on the bike to make sure it's all good.
I just went to fill up some water to top up the coolant reservoir, but I don't want to put cold water in the coolant reservoir, so it's not going to cause more problems putting icy cold water through a hot engine. I thought, where am I going to get some hot water? I'm just in the front of this random motel, and the hot water system's right out the front here, and voila, warm water for the bike. What were the chances of that? Just this random motel with a hot water tank right out the front of it. I mean, when do you ever see a hot water tank out the front of a hotel? Stupid, but very grateful all the same.
There's a bloke that's on a bus tour travelling around, and he made his way over to say g'day. Had a bit of a gas bag. He's got a Tenere himself. Isn't it awesome? Just the community of bike riders, and the bloke this morning that also had an Aprilia Capenord as well. They just sort of gravitate over, ask you some questions, where you headed, where you going, where have you been. People, even if they're not bike riders, I've noticed people just gravitate to you and start asking you questions about your trip, which is awesome. I remember reading an article of a lady who rode her pink motorcycle solo around the world, and she said whenever she'd arrived somewhere, and as soon as she took her helmet off and people realised it's a woman on this pink motorcycle, people don't feel threatened. So all of a sudden she'd have people just swarming her, taking photos with her, asking her about a trip and stuff like that. And it's just awesome, isn't it? The bike, there's something about a bike, people just pop out of the woodwork and just ask you about your trip and wish you have a safe trip and a great time. So there's another reason why people should ride motorbikes more. It's the perfect icebreaker. Oodnadatta Maree. Oh, that's the Oodnadatta track there. Let me just quickly turn around. Yes, there we go, the Oodnadatta track. Okay, so Marla, which is where we are now, to Oodnadatta is four-wheel drive heavy vehicles only. That Facebook group today just said that the Pinker Roadhouse at Oodnadatta is still closed, so there's no point going down the Oodnadatta track this way. Plus this coolant issue, I just can't risk going out here. I'm not going to do this section, it's four-wheel drive only. Look what happened last time it said four-wheel drive and I pushed April to her limits and now she's in a world of pain. Well, there you go. I've just ridden the Oodnadatta, I've ridden on the Oodnadatta track, but I can't say that I've completed the Oodnadatta track. I'll just keep that little secret to myself. No one will know. Yes, the Oodnadatta track. I've ridden it. I'm not lying. It's technically true. I have ridden the track now. Anyways, back to the highway. Yeah, look at that. Port Augusta, 770 clicks to the closest motorbike shop. And that's even if they can help me. Cheers, bloke. Wow, look at the size of that one. Far out, that was massive. That was a wedge-tail eagle. Wow, man, that's awesome. Another road train. You can see the warning signs. Be careful of falling down holes, mine shafts. Don't walk backwards. Watch where you're going. Explosives, active mines. Wow, it kind of spooks you. You don't want to be here, really. That's clever. Drop into Cooper Beatty. A whole lot to see and do.
Alright, made it to my accommodation, which is the Oasis campground. In well and good time, actually. I got here about 2 o'clock in the afternoon, which has given me time to work on the bike. As you can see, it's all covered in droplets of coolant all over the place. Now, I have been topping up the reservoir. I've got to try and access the radiator just to top that up, but I can't see. Looks like it's sort of there's a lot of wet coolant there, so it might be coming out of there. I'm not necessarily worried about the reservoir because that's actually got a lot of water in it. You can see there's plenty of water in there. I'm checking the owner's manual to see where I can fill up the radiator, but there's no filling point on the radiator, so it must just come out of the reservoir and then through the system, which is good because I know that the reservoir's got a lot of water in it, so we're good in that respect. Maybe I'm old school, but they don't do that anymore. Alright, so I've got to make a decision about the rest of the trip. Good thing is I'm in Cooper Pedy, it's a big town, I can sort of try and wing it with something. I'm not going to make a decision just yet. I'm going to go into town, grab a pizza, grab something to eat, just sort of wind down from the day. I'm not overly fussed look, I'm concerned about the leak, that's definitely not a good thing. I just had a look, it's about 2,000 k's home from here, so maybe 3 big days on the bike to get back home, or it's about 3,000 k's to finish off the trip if I've got the balls to keep going with this. I'll look back at this and have a giggle. I'm sure I will. Right now I'm a bit stressed. I'm a bit nervous as to what's going on. I might just call a mechanic. I take the bike to get it serviced at Bike Biz. Now they're in a prettier dealer, so I'm just going to give them a buzz to try and get some answers.
Welcome to Bike Biz Parramatta. Press 2 for servicing. Both bookings. You have contacted Bike Biz Parramatta Workshop.
That was no good. I'll try again later, I suppose. This is supposed to be a dream trip. It's supposed to be effortless and roses and smells like chocolate. I don't know.